Hello and welcome to the Screen Chronicles. My name is Colby, and with me, as always, is Steve. Butter my buns and call me Biscuit. Kuzich. Steve, how are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm just
today?
buttered up and ready to go.
Okay,
and I'm able to talk about things without just hysterically laughing this time.
that's good. That's good.
So we're already at a better start than we were last time.
So today we're going to be discussing episode 7 of WandaVision on Disney Plus. So I think we should probably just rip these spoiler warning right off here and get right into the talk.
Spoiler alert, people, for episode 7. Also, I think it was called Breaking the Fourth Wall.
So let's jump right into some of the spoiler talk here of episode 7 of WandaVision. It's been a pretty crazy ride so far. We've had our theories. We learned a lot about our theories once again in this episode. But the first thing I think what's worth mentioning is every episode starts with previously on WandaVision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Notice each episode she progressively gets like sadder or less peppy in that phrase when she says it. So in episode 2 when she's like previously on WandaVision, and then by episode 7 it's kind of like previously on WandaVision. But if you listen to them all in a row, it's like each one gets a little less and less happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool little thing. I mean,
it's a cool little. I mean, Marvel just dives into those details so well.
Yeah, they've been really killing it. I mean, there's even things after our talk. I started seeing memes for that. I was like, well, crap, I didn't notice this. They were outside the theater at the end of the last episode and had the Incredibles as well as something
family.
Else. Yeah.
It had the Parent Trap.
Parent Trap, and one of them's from the 90s, and which that or the 80s or whatever that decade. I think it was the 90s. Yeah,
the 90s.
90s. But then the Incredibles didn't come out to the 2000s. I mean, that's when we were kids. So something fishy was there too.
Something fishy there.
But again, that wasn't something we needed to see to know that something was going on with the world here already, right?
But it symbolized a couple things. I mean, obviously, superhero family with the Incredibles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Parent Trap is when the two twin sisters discover each other and they switch places. So I think that was supposed to symbolize Pietro, kind of switching places with her actual brother. That's my thought. I think that's maybe why they picked those movies.
Makes sense. But this one here is now set either in the the 2000s, or I guess the setting or the tone of this one. It definitely feels like Modern Family to me. Wanda kind of feels like the mom from that, the blonde mom. I can't remember her name. I used to watch it a lot back when I was in college.
Me too. It's a good show.
I thought it was funny. But then show. Which is also a mockumentary, which is pretty much like The Office, and then the opening like credits then for WandaVision then are the theme music is like just a key removed from The Office. I'm just like, how are they not getting sued out the ass for this?
I know. It really is very similar to The Office.
Just like The Office.
And then they have like Wanda's name all over the place. And apparently that style intro is another show that I haven't seen, like called Happy Endings or something. Like where they have all those names come up.
Maybe I have seen this. I don't know.
I haven't seen that show, but that's what the
something like that.
Like Happy Endings.
Yeah.
So anyway, those titles they come up sort of like this Happy Ending show, I guess. And if you notice really quick, there's like one that's like that flashes by that's like more writing. I don't know if you noticed this when you're watching. There were a bunch of just said like Wanda, and then there's one that like had like a full sentence. If you pause it on that, it says, "I know what you're doing, Wanda." And then the rest of it say Wanda. There's like a closing sign that says, "Sorry, we're Wanda." Yeah.
It's like the next day, even though it feels like there's this passage time, and she's still in her sexy outfit from the day.
So she's in bed alone. She's in bed alone. Meaning Vision ain't back yet.
Last
thing we saw from Vision was he was trying to get out and he got sucked right back in.
Well, she expanded her borders and
Right.
like, encompassed him. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
when
Yeah.
she did
So
that.
encompassed him and he got back
So,
in.
Yeah, and it starts out with him like waking up and just being like, "What?"
At the circus.
Yeah, at the circus. And she's just like in bed, like acting like the quirky mom, you know.
But you're right. When she takes her sheets off, she's in her red costume.
That costume will be missed.
That was a nice costume. And
for the fans.
Yeah.
For the fans. Is what I mean.
And downstairs, the twins are playing video games, and their controller like changes to like a joystick, and then to like a deck of Uno cards. Like they're glitching. They're glitching. You know?
Yeah, it's like
going. And they're
back.
just like looking at each other, like, "What the heck is going on?"
And that goes on throughout the episode, and
yeah,
like she's watching the TV. It goes back to like the 50s era style TV that was from like back in the first episode and things like that. So I was wondering, I was like, are we just gonna like, because we're in the 2000s now, we're gonna hit the 2010s and then go back to the 20s or something, I guess, you know, because that's all the decades we have. We don't know what the next decade of sitcoms is going to look like, you know. But because we're still going to all just be watching The Office over and over again anyway. So
right. So what this one have been like? This one's 2010s or is it 2000s?
I think it's I don't know, because it should have been when the Malcolm in the Middle one was the last episode. I think that one was kind of early 2000s ish feeling like it. That one to me,
I thought it was 90s.
Well, it was supposed to be 90s, but I kind of wonder if they like blended the 80s and the 90s sitcoms because they're pretty much similar. You know, like Friends is pretty much the same as like the sitcoms we had in like the 80s, and then Malcolm in the Middle kind of feels like Scrubs too, like as far as like the cameras and things like that. And to me, anyways, I don't know. So I wonder if they're kind of blending two now or something. I don't know. Or because everything's glitching now too. Is she just glitching, you know, with this? Is she not able to maintain this distinction?
So I'm wondering, you know, based on what happened at the end of this, which we'll get to, if maybe we're done with the whole show thing. Like maybe the whole show facade is not going to be as important anymore now that some things were revealed.
I think we found out there's 9 confirmed, right? So
9 confirmed episodes, so 2 more.
So we could still have one more sitcom era.
We could
thing, you know.
I wonder what it would be.
I wonder what it would be too. Probably, I don't know. I can't even think of any modern sitcoms that are.
I don't really watch sitcoms.
Yeah, not really anymore. I mean, I think mostly watch like dramas and things like that now. Is like primarily.
I have no idea what the new one would be.
But anyway, though, like things are glitching though, and I'm kind of, one of my theories was because she just expand the world too much, and like she pretty much running out of juice, you know, and it takes too much mental effort. And that's what she even says, like she's tired, she just wants some alone time.
In this interview thing,
and it's
she's like
set up interview.
She's like, I'm fine though. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine.
And she definitely does look fine.
No, she does not look fine. She looks like she knows she's not fine.
Mm-hmm.
But she's just trying to tell everybody she's fine. And she goes downstairs and the boys are like, Mom, shit's weird.
Watch your mouth.
And she like doesn't really want anything to do with them today.
Yeah, it's very strange. She's just like, Mommy doesn't have the answers.
What surprised me is I thought this episode was going to start off with her like finding Vision, or at least getting him back or having him back, because like that's the whole point of like expanding the borders, was to protect Vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I thought she was totally going to go find him and bring him back to where she thinks he belongs, but she just like totally did not want him there. She didn't want anything to do with him.
Yeah, she hasn't seen him since the beginning of the first episode.
So
I mean, the previous episode. I mean,
right when he stormed out to go on the neighborhood watch during the Halloween episode.
Exactly. So yeah, it is strange because what initially my thought was for why the hex was created was because she basically had this moment of grief, and you know, like how she was confiding in fake Pietro or real Pietro about how it came about. She said, I don't know, she just felt alone. So I'm wondering if what my theory was, and still kind of is, is that she basically like kind of breakdown, right? A mental breakdown about all this trauma in her life, and just magic shit just happened and just like was a defense mechanism, right? Like how like someone's anxiety is to mask their depression or something like that, right? So
but when you have the power of the Mind Stone infused within you, your anxiety displays a little bit differently than say yours or mine.
Like a grad school student. Yeah,
my anxiety kind of comes with, clenching the jaw, some poor sleep patterns. Wanda's comes with a entire new world, and
mind controlling
walls
of people. Yeah,
right. So she just needs therapy.
And I think that's basic. I still think that that's going to be kind of the message of this, is that because again too, the commercial like knocks it like right on the head too in this one. But I mean, and the commercials too up to this point have been all like her past traumas, as far as Hydra, Tony Stark.
We didn't discuss last week's either.
Yeah, I forgot. We forgot to talk about the commercial in last week, and I don't entirely understand that one. I remember those type of commercials though, like the claymation weird energy drink or like
Go-Gurt or something,
garbage food stuff. I remember those commercials so well.
So it's like a yogurt thing, and the shark comes out, and she's this little kid's on an island. And so what I think it was supposed to symbolize was the time she was captured, and she was like in that prison out in the middle of the water.
Yeah, in Captain America Civil War, when they were, I think it was called the Raft, I think is what it was called.
The Raft, yeah. And she was not able to use her powers. Like they had something that stunted her powers. And that's kind of what I think was, the kid also couldn't open it. He couldn't use his power to open the yogurt.
Oh, that's right. And he's like, with magic, anything is possible or something, was what the shark said.
Yeah. And he wasn't able to use his power to open the yogurt. And so he starved to death. And I think that was like her thinking she was going to also like starve to death.
Yeah. Because she didn't have her magic.
She didn't have her magic, and it was going to kill her until she was saved. Right. So,
that's pretty cool.
I think that's what it symbolizes.
Yeah. And then this one was like just a knot on the head that like or just a hammer to the head of the nail, I guess, because it was just like, what was it? Nexus, right?
Nexus
for people with depression. If you don't want to confront, the side effects may be confronting your grief, overcoming your problems,
feeling your feelings, more depression.
Realizing your world isn't everyone else's world or something like that, you're not the center of the universe.
It's like, because you're not the center of the universe or something like that. Like, well, she kind of is.
She is though. That's the thing. So it was kind of like a wake up, like stop. You are ruining other people's lives because you're being so selfish with this. Your grief.
She also took pills when she went downstairs. Did you see she took some pills too?
That's right. She did.
And when she went down there, the milk, this is very kind of interesting. It started with like a glass thing of milk, right? And it like glitched to this carton of milk that had a missing child thing on it.
Yeah, I saw that.
And apparently on the radio broadcast, there's in the background, it was talking about, well, hopefully your little ghosts got back safely last night or something like that. I don't know. So there's a weird thing. It said missing child on the back of the carton.
And that's been something through WandaVision too, right? Like they were like, when they're having the talent show, it was for the children. But there was no children there.
And then all of a sudden there are a ton of children.
Yeah.
Halloween one.
Someone
where
brought
did they come
up, right?
from?
Like someone was like, why aren't there any kids here?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, it was Vision in the one episode where he started waking up. He's like, why aren't there any other kids here, Wanda? She's like, there's kids here.
Yeah.
They're here. And he's like, I haven't seen any. And the next episode there's kids.
Yeah.
It was I think that was the Halloween one then. Where there's kids.
Yeah,
so
it was.
And she had kids. And let's just talk about it so we can just say it. Agnes is evil. She's behind everything. She is
behind
insidious,
everything,
as her intro song says.
Yes, it was Agatha all along.
It's Agatha all along.
So we get this big reveal that we had predicted way back from like our first episode, I think.
Yeah, I think
she might be.
Yeah, you looked it up and you found that Agatha was.
I did a little digging that there was an Agatha Harkness in the comics who had a lot to do with Wanda. There's several versions. And I'm not huge into the comics myself, so I didn't know that much about her. But from that point forward, I kept kind of paying attention to Agnes. Like, let's see what she's doing.
I don't know if I would have if you didn't tell me or not. But
right, and she became more
after
and more
that. Everything
suspicious.
was so obvious to me.
Yeah, it became up until she was wearing sweatpants that said naughty. There was a whole weird thing in episode 6 where she laughed maniacally with Vision.
That's what I still feel like they were still leaving some fairly obvious things out, especially like when Vision went to go talk to Herb, right? After he was sawn through the wall and she's out there like hushing him and walks away, right? Like that to me, like I think that still would have rang off some alarm bells, even if you didn't tell me anything.
Right. And I think it was supposed to. Right.
And like I said, too, when he was in the last episode, when Vision was going around the outskirts of town, when all the NPCs were just out stuck in a loop as like background characters, Agnes, even though she was technically outside the zone of like activity, she was still physically moving, and then she was weird after she was woken up, she was still strange. So
I think now I know she faked that whole thing.
Yeah, they showed she faked the whole thing.
She faked that whole thing, and I think she wanted Vision out. I think she wanted to say something that would make Vision try to leave. Because I think she might have seen him as like a barrier to her access to something. Oh, I don't know, say the children. So I think she wanted him to try to leave or something.
Right. And the other thing too that I think also, again, I don't know if I would have picked up on this if we hadn't talked about her theory though. But back when we were talking about the episode, I forget which one it was, but where Vision, I think this is one where he ends up confronting Wanda though. Or was it the one before? I don't know. The first episode with the babies, I guess.
Yeah.
And he was like freaks out when she's going to go touch them. And he says, and she's just like, "Oh, should I do it? Should we redo this?" Like that weird, like blooper sort of sitcom thing. And
like Wanda was like, "What?" It broke like the facade.
Yeah, because everyone else just does what they're supposed to. They don't acknowledge.
Yeah, even when something weird happens that's not expected, they'll just be like,
yeah,
and go on and keep going.
Or she resets it, Wanda or whoever. I don't know if it's Agnes or what. It feels like it's Wanda that resets it, Yeah,
we'll talk about that in a second, what we think about that. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. So that was weird.
Yeah, so that one to me, I was like, all right, she is not behaving like everyone else, though. Still, even though she's going along with it, she's still not behaving like all the other NPCs here.
Yeah, that's true. So let's go back to episode 7 and back it up to Agnes comes in, like she always just barges right in, and she's wearing a purple sweater with like a purple collar, which purple was the color of Agatha in the comics, by the way. And she comes in and sees that Wanda's all crazy. And Agatha has her own interview thing too, where she's like, "Boy, I was like 1 second away from her going over the edge or something, Whereas I was just in the nick of time." And she gets there and she's like, "Let me take the kids off your hands for the day." And Wanda's like, "Yes, please. Like, I'm depressed and, nothing's right. I need a me day." And Agatha's like, "Yeah, let me take them for you." And she says something like, "Don't worry, I don't bite."
And I was like, she is gonna eat those kids.
Yes. It cuts to Agnes going like, "Actually, I did bite a kid once," or something like that.
I know.
And it's like,
is there more to that story?
And she takes the kids, and
but it has like that quirky sort of Modern Family vibe where they say something, then they go to the behind the camera, and they say the opposite of whatever happened, right? But for us though, like even though it's like that like sitcom trope, it's still like, what did that just mean? You know, like,
yeah, what was the meaning? Yeah, exactly.
There weren't kids in this town before.
There's a missing kid thing on the milk carton.
We just had a bunch of kids running around last night on Halloween, Satan's Day.
Yeah. So basically, she's like, "Look at this mole on my back," and they're like, "Hey, go, get out of here."
Yeah, that was strange. I don't know if that was just like sitcom humor thing, or what was that setting up? Because like they didn't show her back either.
Witches are like known to have moles and warts. Maybe she actually does have like a weird witch mole on her back.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Or like just a tramp stamp that just says like Satan's bitch on there.
Yeah. And all the while, Vision is at the circus. He woke up. He's going around, and now you see the former sword agents are all these circus people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the guy's name, but he was one of like the ones we saw in the previous episodes. It's like the strong man, and he came up. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing? You got to go to the tent or something like." He's like, "You got to get ready for your you have to get ready to perform." And then he goes and finds Darcy, who is wearing what we saw in the poster before the show came out in the TV. She's wearing this like jacket that has these symbols on it. Which I didn't know if that meant she was going to be a hero at the time, if she was going to have her own suit, but I think it's just that's her circus costume.
Yeah, her WandaVision character costume.
Yeah, and so she's chained up for an act, and she has to escape.
Like an escape artist,
Yeah, and she does like super easily. And Vision remembers her from when he was trying to get out, because she was like the one saying, "You got to help him." So she remembers that she was a friendly. Friendly. Yeah, so he's like, "Don't you remember me? Like I was begging for your help. We had a connection, you and I." And she is her new WandaVision self, so she doesn't have her mind. And I'm like screaming at Vision, "Touch your head! Like, what are you doing?
Use your powers."
And it takes him a minute, but he does it. I was like, "Okay, thank you." I was like, if he didn't do that, I was gonna be so mad.
I know. I was like, if this is gonna be the thing he has to deal with, is like trying to convince her this whole time. I'm just like we already figured out you can do this shit.
Yeah. So he does it, and she snaps back, and she's still like immediately her sarcastic self.
Mm-hmm.
But she knows what's going on. She's like, "I'm in the world. I'm in this, I know where I am." And she doesn't like freak out like everybody else does. Like when they get woken up, like, "Oh my God, help me." She has like, that understanding of what's going on. And I wonder if that would probably be the same with all the sword agents, because they actually know what's going on compared to like the Westview citizens who like just got trapped into this all of a sudden, So Darcy's just like gonna help Vision.
I think they're also aware too, of what they're doing when they're under the mind control. You know what I mean? I think they're aware that they're like going around being these characters.
Yeah, like we talked about last time, they're in like a sunken place. Like
it's right.
Like they can kind of see. It's almost like someone's driving their body, I guess, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just in the passenger seat watching.
Yeah. And so eventually, though, she and Vision, they get into a truck and they get away. And the lead strongman guy tries to chase them down. And on their way there, she like pretty much like covers everything with him. She like covers the MCU to that point. Like she goes through
she goes through every
all
episode.
Like 20 films. She
goes back to Iron Man. So it all started. Tony Stark. He was out
2010, right?
Robert Downey Jr. Kind of makes his comeback in his career.
No one thought he was going to do this.
Right. Everyone was like, "You're crazy to cast this guy. You seen his past."
10 years later,
now we're on
superhero team up team movie.
I love too how he's like, "So I died twice" or something like.
Yeah.
And she just recaps that whole scene.
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, so Wanda killed you." Or that's what he says. Like, "So Wanda killed me?" Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Yeah, but to protect everybody." And she's like, "And then Thanos like reversed time and killed you again." And I was just like,
and she had to watch it again.
She had to watch it again. And that makes Vision kind of sympathetic toward Wanda.
Yeah. Now he understands where this is coming from.
Yeah.
And then too, she's like, "You know what? Like I've been watching WandaVision is what Darcy says, I've been watching WandaVision, and like the love you guys have though is real, and it's like makes him like go like okay, you know. And and it's and again too, like it makes me wonder, how do all the civilians know all the MCU stuff when we've only ever seen like superheroes together when this stuff is going down, right? So someone
everybody
must have
seems
told
to know what happened at Wakanda and at
I know. Everyone knows like what happened step by step at the end battle
at the end
Endgame, right? Like, like
and in Infinity War, like everybody knows.
Wanda did this, and then Captain Marvel came down, and then Iron Man tackled him.
Did I send you this video I saw on Reddit of there was like a birthday party or something where like there was an Iron Man costume, like these people came in, there was a Spider-Man, a Hulk, and a Thanos costume.
I don't know.
And Thanos was like, they were doing an act, and Thanos was like on the ground, and this kid gets up out of his chair and goes and like kicks him in the head. And all these kids get up and start kicking him, and like and in the background like Spider-Man, Hulk, and Iron Man are like this, and the parents are trying to pull the kids off, and Thanos is just on the ground.
I did not see that.
It shows like Iron Man's like this. Okay, I'll send it to you after this. But anyway,
we'll link that down below too, so you can all enjoy it.
Anyway, so she recaps the MCU, and Vision's like, "Oh my god, I think I should watch these movies."
He's like, "I was Jarvis, and then I was then I was brought back by Ultron, so I was like a murder machine, but now I'm not." And he's like, "So what am I now?" And she's like, "I don't know."
She's like, "I just thought she brought you up from the dead and was like using your body for."
And again, it's like, what is he? So
so we still don't know.
We talked about it. I think you were saying, at least before, that you were thinking that's his dead body reanimated, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking?
And I think it's a spell. That's my theory, is that this hex pattern is like an important witch thing for some kind of spell that resurrected him. And I don't know now who did the spell after this episode. I thought there was something Wanda did to bring him back, and it still may be. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if he goes outside of that hex, as we saw him try to do, and he started to like fade away, I think he would die if the hex wasn't there. I think it's just within the hex he's alive.
Yeah.
Although that's my theory.
I was expecting him too. As soon as he started to go through the hex, I thought he was just going to go like gray,
dead body,
and just drop.
He did sort of go gray.
He did.
He did sort of go a little bit, yeah. But like he started kind of getting pulled back into it.
That's what, like maybe he was tethered enough, like he was still plugged in, essentially. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, but we're still not exactly sure.
Not sure, but I'm also kind of wondering too. Now that you've said that, if Agnes or Agatha, I might call her either one, people. Maybe she was the one that kind of made it possible, even though like it's running on Wanda's like power and her will, I guess. Could be. Maybe she just saw she had this weakness, and she was like, maybe if I just make this little sitcom world for her here, you know, for her to enjoy with her dead boyfriend here, it'll work, you know. And so she must have had some role. And again, too, we saw at the end, when Wanda confronts Agatha, and I guess not confronts, sort of finds out.
Agatha kind of confronts her.
Yeah, she has a creepy basement. She has like like if you turn Colby's camera around, what his room looks like from the other side is what that basement looked like. And
here's the thing, though. I think that basement is like not part of the hex.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that basement's like real in this real world basement. I think.
And I think we have heard too that this is going to tie into the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie thing too.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumors about that. And
so we already have a character from the X-Men here. Is this a character from another universe? Is this her? You know, is this something? I don't even have the thoughts to express it. But anyway, though, we do see though that Agatha like puts a little purple thing into Wanda, kind of like how Wanda put that red like the red Wanda magic into like Tony Stark to like make him
see,
and then also like make him want to make Ultron kind of.
Yeah.
So is it the same thing, right? Because she said like she didn't really control his mind to make Ultron. She just sort of revealed something that could have been or something. So is that all Agnes did to her to kind of make this happen? Or is she like literally controlling her? Is she literally like, this is what you're going to do, kind of like Wanda's doing to everyone else. Or was she just literally just giving her like a vision? Like, here you go. Yeah. Here's all the behind the scenes Wanda stuff, or
here are the bonus features. Boom.
Bonus features. The making of. But like, was it literally just her showing her all the things that she was behind? Because that's when we got this song. It's Agatha the whole time.
All along, yeah.
All along.
And so
we see all the things that she did. That she was the one behind the camera and the one that made the rabbit go strange or something, and she brought Pietro back, and and I killed Sparky.
And I killed Sparky too. I killed Sparky too.
When you called that, man. But
I did call the dog. I did call her killing that dog because it was too weird. She like was picking him up
just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's dead.
Yeah. Sparky died.
But how? Did you fucking run him over?
Yeah. Yeah. So prior to this,
back
to finding that basement. By the way, this whole time, Monica Rambeau is outside of the hex, and she finally gets to the people who have this like perfectly armored tank to get into the hex.
Yeah,
it's like made of the perfect material or something.
Yeah, and we didn't meet her space contact person, whoever it was that she's been referencing. We just met some like generic military personnel person that she knows. I forget the name. But
they were loyal to her mom.
Yeah. But we
we
still don't know who she's called in, you know. And I'm thinking we're eventually going to see that here, but
could be a scroll. I'm kind of leaning now towards scrolls. I don't know why.
I keep hearing people they think Fantastic Four is a lot of people are thinking.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah.
I don't know. It wouldn't make sense to me. It just wouldn't.
Scrolls would make sense.
Scrolls would make sense with
because
the fact
her
that we
mom
have
would have had
Rambeau.
a relationship. We know that Nick Fury was like on a scroll base.
That's right too.
Where there were a bunch of cool.
I did not like that. I did not like
technologies. Well,
I don't like that he was just gone, and he was with a fake Nick Fury. We've had how many movies have we had a fake Nick Fury for? Does any of it matter then? They are just ruining Nick Fury. They gave him his eye story was a cat. All right, I'm let's just go.
It wasn't exactly a cat though.
Yeah, but he was like, he made it so badass and cool. I love
that was hilarious though, how they were so scared of that cat.
It was hilarious.
Captain Marvel.
The cat was hilarious in that, by the way. But again, that's what I mean when I was concerned about some things in this show too, because I feel like they were getting a lot of Thor Ragnarok humor for like big character moments. Like, let's just make it a funny moment for this character development moment. You know what I mean? So I've really liked so far. It feels like really good, solid character stuff while not being. It doesn't have to be on the level of like Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, right? It doesn't have to be on that level.
No. And if there is something that's like a funny joke, it's usually has a double meaning. You know what I mean? If it comes off as a cheesy joke, it has like a double meaning that's like will blow your mind later. You know, it might have seemed cheesy then, but yeah. So anyway, Wanda is just, you know, all weird and
and Rambeau too with her space thing. She tries
So she tries to go through this wall. She puts on an astronaut suit for whatever reason and tries to go through, probably trying to protect her from whatever scrambled her cells and stuff. So now this part kind of like
why didn't everyone do that though if that was an option? Like I'm just like does it do anything? Probably not.
Yeah. Now this part made me jump a little bit because in the trailer they show the truck like going through the wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like expecting to see what I saw in the trailer, but no, it just like boom, like it was concrete. It just like slams into that thing, and this starts getting like chewed up by it,
Yeah, it starts just like kind of turning up. I thought it was gonna like drive up for a second too.
Yeah.
Or something, and then she has to jump out, and it starts to transform it into something that would fit like this setting,
like a
right?
pickup truck or something.
The front of it turns into a pickup truck,
but it shoots it out.
Yeah.
And so Monica, I think when she was in the truck, thought it was like destroying it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it got shot out, she looked and saw that it just changed it again. It didn't destroy it. It just like reorganized. So she realized like, okay, so it's not going to kill me. It's just going to change me again. So I'm going to go through it.
Yeah, and she pushes through, and it's pretty cool. And we were talking about this too earlier. Monica Rambeau, she's a pretty badass character, and she goes through, and there was this really like cool visual thing where it's like her body's like splitting up and stuff like that, and she's hearing like Nick Fury and I think Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
She's hearing Nick Fury, Captain Marvel's voices and things, and like her mom, and like some cool superhero shit. But
she's like phasing, like you see like the different versions of her.
Yeah, a spectrum.
Yeah, maybe? So I guess there's also a superhero in the comics named Photon, though.
That's what I've heard. She has different names. Like Photon,
so maybe it's
Spectrum.
Not. Maybe her name's not Spectrum. Maybe it's Photon. I don't know. Or maybe she has multiple names.
Similar. I think they're all like similar versions of the character. Almost is what I think from what I've seen. I'm not a huge comic book guy. I'm more of a superhero nerd kind of guy.
Yeah.
But
love the stories. I haven't read all.
Love the movies. I grew up on the cartoons, but I can't read. That's the issue.
I know. Yeah. And comic books don't have pictures. So,
no. You can't.
Anyway, but she gets through this wall.
She goes. It's pretty cool. She goes through and she comes down. Her eyes light up and things like that. It's pretty cool.
She's like blue or purple eyes. Like
and she sees
and it shows what she sees.
It's like a spectrum-ish thing, right? It looks like she's kind of like thermal vision mixed in with like UV lights or something. You know what I mean? And
she like blinks a couple times and it goes away.
Yeah.
And she's just like, wow.
She's like, oh, wow, superpowers. Yeah, never mind. Keep going.
Yeah, but I think she realizes, okay, something's weird is happening with my body. Okay, I got to go find Wanda, because the reason why she wanted to get into this place again is on the way to meet these people who had the tank. Wu got like a text message that gave him information about the email that was sent to Vision earlier on. And he found out that email was sent by Hayward, the director of Sword.
Yes. And
so that was his realization. It's like, oh crap, he sent that email to try to get Vision to like leave on his own, to like make him realize something was going on. And it was working. Vision started to question, and he ended up in like a day trying to leave. And then basically Wu and Monica make this realization that like, oh crap, which Steve called last episode. Hayward wants to use Vision as a weapon. He wants his sentient weapon back. And that makes sense. Why were they working on his body at Sword? What interest 5 years later could they possibly have in his body at that point?
That's what I knew when he was like, in his will, he didn't want to go anyone else. He didn't want to use his weapon. I was like, but why then are you working on him for 5 years instead of just burying him or burning him?
Yeah. For like 5 years?
Destroy him then. Melt him down into another shield or something like that at the very like the vibranium.
So that all makes sense now. Hayward is trying to get him to leave. And
you think Hayward is just like a government guy, or do you think he's like?
No, I think he's more.
You think he's like a Skrull or like a wizard or
I don't
something?
Know
or do you think he's just
about that? I think he's a bad guy.
You think he's Hydra or something? Maybe.
I think he's a bad guy. I mean, he had the hex or the hexagon in his back and the back. I still don't get.
And then two, what's her name wanted, and you were kind of saying like it seemed like Agatha also wanted Vision to kind of leave, right? And
yeah, I don't know for the same motive, but maybe.
Yeah.
Vision. I think Agnes thought Vision was a barrier between her and the kids.
Maybe they're working together then, at least.
But maybe they're working together.
Maybe she likes to eat
interest.
kids and he wants weapons. So they're working together.
Right. Maybe. Or maybe they're completely different. Who knows? But you're right. They both try to do the same thing, but I think for different reasons. I think she wanted him out of the way, and I think he wants him out to use as a weapon. But we'll see. We'll see if they have a connection. Maybe they do, because he's got that thing in the back. Maybe crazy theory that Hayward is was it Mephisto guy?
Oh, yes, I've heard about this.
The devil character.
That's her husband. We still haven't seen her husband. She keeps referencing her husband, Ralph.
Ralph. She keeps referencing.
Wreck-It Ralph.
So we don't know who Ralph is. Again, he's got the hex in his office. That's kind of weird. Nobody puts their diplomas in that organization on the wall.
And who has that many diplomas?
Yeah, he knows a lot about remember when Darcy was trying to teach about?
He knew that it was like what energy it was.
What do they call it? The energy it was.
Cosmo thing.
He knew all about it. So there's something I think to be revealed about him that hasn't already been revealed. But we know now that he sent that email trying to get Vision out. So Wu and Monica, they're like, okay, now change of plan. We need to get in there and we need to tell Wanda this information. Okay. So they're in their minds, they're like, Wanda's still an Avenger. She's still overall not like a bad person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's doing this world. They understand that Wanda thinks that Monica shot missiles at her. Mm-hmm. So
they might also know that Hayward wants to bomb the place or something too. I think because he's planning to go attack it.
Yeah.
So
Wu's like, you need to get in there and tell Wanda to protect Vision. That's the big thing.
Yeah. So then when Rambo then goes to Wanda, she immediately proceeds to tell her all the information outright. She's like, Vision's weapon, need to protect him. They're coming. Right?
No.
That never happens.
That's what I would do. I would just be yelling as I was running up to the door.
Vision's weapon. Just Paul Revere style, right? Just
yeah. Vision's a weapon. They want to use Vision as a weapon, everybody. And Wanda is as soon as Monica comes in, Monica's like, hey, Wanda, how's it going? By the way, the stuff between us before, I'm sorry, it wasn't me, no, but she doesn't come right out with it. She comes in
she's like, I know you're not, she tries to, she's an honorable person, right? But she leads too much with yakking around.
She doesn't come bursting through that door saying, Sword wants to use Vision as a weapon, you need to protect him. Getting out, Mm-hmm. That's all she had to say.
How it should have ended, guys, they're going to do that.
Yeah. Wanda, as soon as she sees her, though, is just we've
already
how did
done
you
this.
get in here? Yeah.
Kamehameha!
Yeah, I'll do this again. I can get you out of here. That's why this is called breaking the fourth wall again. No. But anyway, what happens is she's starting to get through to her a little bit, because Wanda starts to do something to her. Right?
Yeah.
And throw her down.
Well, she does. She throws her up a magic, but then Rambo immediately knows how to use her superpowers for some reason.
Well,
when
she landed, I could believe it. When she landed, I could believe it because that's kind of instinctual, right? If you're falling, maybe she could just instinctively land like that.
Yeah, but again, she's not reacting in any way to it, and I guess one that's in part this isn't her story, right? So they don't want to spend all the time on that. But I don't know. It just feels kind of weird to me that Wanda, who it just seems keeps getting more and more powerful as the show's going on, then all of a sudden she finds out she just gets superhero powers less than 5 minutes ago, and now she can use them.
It's interesting, and
I think she would have. I think if she had her own movie, her own show, or something, I feel her backstory coming back from the snap and having her mom die of cancer, who was connected to Captain Marvel, and obviously there's some sort of grudge between her and Captain Marvel. I feel there's a really interesting story there.
Yeah.
I almost feel that should have been some sort of Captain Marvel story though, because I just don't care like it. I want the WandaVision shit.
Who knows?
You know?
Maybe it will be now that we're getting another Captain Marvel movie.
It might be. It might be. Who knows? Maybe Captain Marvel's going to show up in the next episode and save the day. I don't know.
I hope not. Oh God, I would hate that. Anyway, so Wanda and her are chatting, and Agnes looks out the window. Now, last we saw, Agnes was in there with the kids, and one of the kids said to her, she's like,
I like you. You're quiet.
You're quiet. And this is the one that can, this is the one that can like tell. He's telepathic. He can like hear.
And earlier in the day, he was telling his mom like everything's too loud. I can hear this. And then to me, that was saying like he's reading everyone's mind. That's what I took it as.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's. And because remember, he knew where Vision was, and he could hear him even though he wasn't next to him or anything. And so to me, when he was like, "I like you. You're quiet," I was like, he can't read her mind. She's blocking out his mind reading powers because
and she like has a
he
weird
wants
look
to eat him.
Yeah, and she has like a weird look at the camera, like like
she has like a little like evil Jim. You know, like how Jim would always look at the camera in the offices. That's evil Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta eat these kids.
The rabbit, that weird rabbit, is on the kid's lap there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, then we don't really see the kids again after that. What we do see is when Monica and Wanda are out on the lawn, and Wanda is about to just her right out of this world again. And Monica is trying to tell her how they want to use Vision as a weapon. Agnes sees
in
that
as
through
many
a window.
words as possible, she's trying to tell her.
Yes.
So I believe you. I think you're a good person. You're
in the most roundabout way. She's trying to let her know. Anyway,
but again, she was getting through to her though. Like it was a solid tactic if there wasn't any time issue, right? If there wasn't a period limit, right? Like it would have just the clock just keeps going from infinity down.
Yeah, but like Agnes comes out and is like, "Wow, like I think you have overstayed your welcome here." Mm-hmm. You know, as like a good neighbor, like sees somebody's bothering, like I think you should go, and they start walking toward Agnes's house. And Monica starts to say something, and Wanda turns back and she says, she say, "I will kill you" or something. Or
I don't remember that.
She says something bad. She's like,
she threatens, "Leave me alone or stay away from me" or something, right? Yeah,
she threatens her, and they go into.
And so Rainbow just gives up. Like she can't even like follow behind them and be like, Vision's weapon. Like she's just like, all right, well, give up. Guess I'll just give up.
Well, she kind of gets she gives up for a second. She doesn't go right after them in that moment. But Wanda goes inside Agnes's house. Okay. And she's sitting on the couch, and she sees Yo Gabba Gabba on the TV, and they're just yelling, "Jump, jump, jump, jump," as part of the show, the kids show. And Wanda's sitting there, and she sees the kids show, and she's like, "Where are my kids?" And Agnes is brewing up some like tea for her or something in the kitchen.
And there's this creepy like cicada.
On the window.
And the bunny's looking evil in its little bunny cage.
Yeah. Ooh, bunnies.
Bunnies are so evil.
They're so fucking evil. Okay. So anyway, Wanda is just taking a little walk, and she like opens this door to the basement, and it's really weird and like purpley, and there's vines and
even Agnes kind of directed her that way too, because she's like, "Oh, I think they're just playing in the basement."
In the basement, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she told her that. So she starts going down there. She's getting sketched out here. She's getting weirded out, and it's creepy. She goes down and finds this like satanic temple. Like it's got like Baphomet. You can see in the background like a statue of Baphomet, which is like the ram head, and she goes down there, and it's like super creepy with like symbols on the wall and cases of bones and dead winged creatures and stuff, and a book that's like has weird like stuff, mystic stuff coming out of it. I don't know what to call
glowy.
It. It's glowy, a glowy, scary book.
It doesn't fit in with Westview.
No. And on the book, it has like what could be interpreted as like two keys, like going like that. So does that mean this is a book that needs like two keys to open it or something? Who knows? Who knows?
Two magic people need to open this book.
And so that's when Agnes comes down and reveals herself holding the bunny. reveals herself to be Agatha Harkness. And that's when she's like, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. And she goes,
you didn't think you were the only other magic person in this person side of the town or something like that.
Yep. And that's when she reveals to her, boom, I've been doing all this stuff. She shows her, like we talked about earlier, she created Pietro. She had made the bunny go crazy at the
talent show.
The talent show, you know, messed with Vision, and it killed Sparky too.
And I killed Sparky too. I was dying when that happened.
That was the last line before the credits, I think.
Yeah. Like the big like villain reveal, you know, like that happens in shows was like,
yeah,
I am Wilson Fisk. I am the one, you know. It's like it's always like drama, you know, like bum 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 music kind of.
Yeah.
But with her, it's and I killed Sparky too.
I gotta give major props to Catherine Hahn for the role she's played, and to reveal here has been pretty awesome. I gotta say, she's like filled every time period role perfectly. As the goofy neighbor and the worried neighbor or what have you. And like the scene that really stuck out to me was the one where she was in the car and Vision came and she started laughing maniacally. It like made my skin crawl. And that was pretty awesome. And then to see her get the reveal here, I mean, I gotta say, as an actor, I got to imagine seeing the script for this, or like hearing about this role and hearing about what it entailed, must have made her so excited. I would have to guess, because what like a unique role.
Yeah, I think Wanda too. I think what's her name, Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda too. I think she's been killing it too, because I think she fits every time period too pretty well.
Oh, I think everybody all around does. Yeah.
But then she flips back well as Wanda, what we know from the previous MCU stuff,
and it's very distinctive.
Yeah,
when she's being herself, like her real world self, compared to the character in these shows.
Yeah,
like when she goes out the Hex for the first time and talks to them, like she is like distraught Wanda, like gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, that's like Age of Ultron Wanda right there, or Endgame.
Yeah, and then in the show, in the show she plays every role really well. Elizabeth Olsen does. Also, Paul Bettany is awesome. I mean
he definitely kills it, but I feel like especially those two though. I feel like they really fit those like
they're very diverse, very diverse.
Like, they each one, because Vision, even though he plays like the goofy husband, which kind of just feels the same to me in every decade, you know, like, oh, dopey dope. Yeah. I don't know how to use syrup or something, you know. And but I feel like they really do well with the overtop ostentatious, you know, women from the 50s, and then and
I feel like Paul Bettany plays like really well into the role where he is still just Vision, you know. And like when even like what stuck out to me was when he was starting to question things, and he confronted Wanda for the first time about it.
Yeah,
like that was an amazing scene from him. And when he got mad at her, I was like, oh my god,
that was really good. And that's what I like too, is it always feels like Vision is the one who's trying to be these characters, or that's in this role, right? Kind of like when Chris Hemsworth did like that joking, like Thor, like behind the scenes thing where he was like a roommate to some guy, before Thor Ragnarok, and he missed out on Civil War or something like that. That's what, like, that's kind of like what Vision feels like too. Like when he was like sitting there in front of the camera.
Oh my god!
And he was like, so like I understand Wanda now, and like I feel like she's like trying to set me back. I feel like she's trying to prevent me from getting there. And he's like, what am I doing here?
What am I doing right now? He takes the mic off. He's like, I gotta go get Wanda. That was hilarious. I died laughing when it happened.
He's like, oh yeah, I can fly. That's right.
Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, like, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, why is he like just talking to the camera right now? It's crazy. I still think it's like very confusing in that world for him.
Yeah, I still think he's under something, because he didn't even really understand who Darcy was at first. He was like, we had this unspoken connection. It was like this comedic sitcom, like romantic like hitting on thing for a second, and then he knew who she was. And I think that's why it took him a while to like wake her up.
Well, remember, this reality he lives in is like the only one he's ever known, because
he can remember.
He can't remember before he died. And so I guess he kind of knows there's something beyond the wall now.
Yeah, and he also knows like he's
so now he's going to be that crazy conspiracy theorist in WandaVision, like there's something beyond that.
Something
what's the
out
lane
there.
called? Yeah.
Beyond the hex.
He's crazy. There's something beyond the hex. I've seen it.
Like, oh my God.
Written off as this crazy guy on YouTube.
So outside the hex. This is how the world works outside the hex.
Yeah. So that was a hilarious part. Vision trying to get back. And somebody, so I thought it was Wanda delaying it. And I'm just thinking, why doesn't Wanda want him back? I don't get why she doesn't want him back.
Yeah. Because I think she does. I feel like this whole thing is the kind of the motivation behind it is because the life she wanted with him.
Yeah, that she I don't get why she didn't pause everything and like fly to where he was and like pick him up and bring him back. Like, I don't get that.
Well,
especially after she knew he was in trouble.
Maybe like Agnes kind of reset her, like how she reset Vision. I don't
know. So I guess we need to have a discussion about what we think is going on, because now we know that Agnes has been at least influencing this world. The question comes, who created the world? Who is mostly in control, right? Because Wanda definitely is in control of most of this world, in my opinion. I mean, she paused everybody, right? She stopped everything. That was her.
For Vision.
She has manipulated like what she wants things to look like, right? I mean, even like the commercials are her deep thoughts, like they're her deep trauma. So I guess my theory is that Wanda did like create this world, maybe subconsciously, in her grief. And I think Agnes is exploiting it. I think maybe Agnes has come to use Wanda's grief to get something out of her. That's my theory, because I some people might think Agnes created this whole thing.
That's why I think some people think that now that we've been revealed that she was the one behind everything, that she's the one who's literally behind everything. But I don't think so. I think she's just the one that kind of keeps the plot going,
Yeah. I think she does manipulate the things around Wanda to trick her. But I still think this thing started because of Wanda's grief, because of Wanda wanting Vision back.
Yeah.
Wanting
I don't
to create
know if
somehow.
she was the one that made the sitcom necessarily, but I still think she made she wanted to make some sort of false world for them, right? To be able to continue on in.
Right.
And maybe Agnes is one that was like, all right, let's make a sitcom then.
I
don't know.
And how much control did Agnes have over other characters? Obviously, she did something to Herb, they showed at the wall. But we know that Wanda also has influenced many of those characters.
Yeah.
Well, again, when we go back to the first time Vision did that to the guy he works with, did the head thing, he didn't say Wanda. Get Wanda out. He said, get her out of my head. Or you got to stop her. You got to stop her. So it could be Wanda. Could still be Wanda, but they didn't explicitly say Wanda.
This could be Agnes, yeah.
Next episode, again, is going to reveal a lot.
I know. And I was ready for more, too, because I was like, all right, an hour. I was like, this is going to keep going. Here's Agnes. What's the next crazy thing that's going to happen? And it ends. And
it's excruciating.
I literally paused it right there because I was like, I saw the hour thing, and it literally said 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So bullshit. If you're counting from the beginning of the intro and all that stuff to the end of the credits, maybe it's an hour. I still don't think
it's not even. It's not even. It's like 37 minutes or something.
Yeah.
There are long credits. There are very long credits.
Yeah.
By the way, we get a little post-credit scene.
Yes, like we said.
Or mid-credit scene.
Yeah, mid-credit? Yeah.
And
Rambo is like going to the basement, and Pietro sneaks up on her.
Yep.
And that's that.
So she was able to open the basement doors, and he's like, Snooper's going to snoop or something like that.
Snooper's going to snoop.
And I was wondering where Pietro was this whole time.
Yeah.
In the episode. He just kind of vanished. And earlier on in the episode, the kids were asking about Pietro, and Wanda's like, oh, that's not really your uncle. And they're like, he's not? Then who is he? Like, yesterday you said he was our uncle. Like, and so Wanda doesn't really have the answer for them. And she's like, your mom doesn't always have the answers. And so that showed me that Wanda truly is confused. Wanda is like in a haze and like,
yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
So
it might even been, maybe Agnes did make the world and she's just kind of driving it. It's like she made this playground for her to control.
Maybe.
Essentially, and that's why like those commercials are her grief, because this is like her subconscious. It's sort of populating it. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna go ahead and assume. I guess I'd have to get a better look at that devil worship chamber downstairs. That those pillars were in a hexagon. I'm gonna guess that.
I guess.
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell by
Wanda was the one that expanded it, though, right?
Wanda expanded it, so she does.
What is it? Who is it? Is it both?
Wanda can throw people out of it. Wanda can open it up and talk to the people. So Wanda knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Like she knows what this thing is. She knows
how to
it's
operate
not the real world. So there's a lot of gray area here. Like how much has Agnes that's why I still think Wanda may have created it. But
I think though too
Agnes
how they
is exploiting.
Yeah. I'm thinking though too, now that we know Wanda was one behind everything, as Rambo said. I wonder too if that was sort of a false herring there, and just maybe all of it is Agnes then.
And like you said earlier, could Agnes have just maybe not made the world, but could she have done a vision to Wanda like Wanda did to Tony Stark to show, what could be, could be? Maybe
that's where I'm leaning. Then that's what I'm leaning. That's what my final answer is going to be right now. Here for today here. February 21st, 2021, 2/21/2021.
Today's February. It's been February for 21 days.
It's February. Colby's like, oh shit, it's February. Oh, February's almost over next week. Next week is literally the last week of February.
I thought
it was a full week. It's literally one day on Sunday.
I'm so dumb. Oh my god. Yeah, it's been February. We're 3 weeks into February, ladies and gentlemen. I've been in the hex. I don't know why I said that. It's February.
February?
No. Because I thought you said it's February 1st, where I was like, shit, it's February?
It's already February? I'm gonna get my taxes done. February.
Oh my god.
Well, hey.
So that's it.
That's all of it.
God, what an awesome show WandaVision is.
It's really shaping up to be a fun one.
I never expected to like it as much as this. I haven't been this excited for like a weekly release show. I mean, I look so forward to it.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is like these reveals, these slow little. It's a lot to predict. I love shows where you
benefits from being a weekly reveal. I think this one does.
Yes, this one definitely benefits.
I think Mando could have been a binge. I think that one could have been either one. I think either one I would have still got the same impact from.
Yeah. Like WandaVision is so good that it's like, I know what I'm doing on Friday. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Lock off my schedule. That's
and I like that
doing.
we get time to speculate and to chew on it, right? Because if I was just jumping episode to episode with this one, I don't think it would hit me as hard. I think I would just be like, oh, let me go on to my next answer then real quick here.
It's Agnes. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I would have been more surprised that it was Agnes if I didn't have time to think about it.
Maybe.
Anyway.
Maybe.
What an awesome show. I'm so glad we're doing it because I didn't expect it to give us this much to talk about.
I'm so glad it's doing us, So let us know what you guys thought about it and what you think is going to happen. All right. Who do you think set up the world? What do you think Vision is? Is he alive, dead? Is he just his memory being envisioned out? Who knows?
Or is his body being reanimated.
His body being physically reanimated. Agnes and
also
director of Sword
theory.
What's your theory?
So why would Agnes kill Sparky? Why would Agnes kill something that she may have even created? Because I think Sparky was trying to dig something up in her garden. So notice how Agnes, when we first meet her, especially, and they show again, she lands in that like reveal in that purple dress. Yeah, that turns into her first costume, and she brings a plant over. Okay. She also brought like food over. She like has she came over and was like spraying something around her house with the kids. She was making her tea. Could Agnes maybe manipulating Wanda with some kind of plant-based thing that she uses, like a potion or something, or a spell that she's been like sneaking Wanda? She's been sneaking it to Wanda. Maybe the pills Wanda took today were provided by Agnes and is a way for her to control Wanda. And maybe Sparky was digging those up and she was like, oh, hell no, dog. Stomp.
Stomp. All right, that's another one. Why do you guys think she killed the dog? I'm going along with Colby. That dog was onto something. He died a hero. He died a hero's death.
Yes.
Valhalla for you, dog.
Let us remember. Yes.
Valhalla for you, Sparky.
That dog is feasting and humping in Valhalla. Yeah, so I definitely saw some fall. There you go. Yep. All right. Anyway, tell us what you think. And please follow on Insta,
subscribe. Follow us,
maybe.
Maybe
if
you follow us on podcasts. Follow us on the podcasts.
Well, if we're not sure, how are they ever going to be, Steve? Anyway, please follow and subscribe if you enjoy what you hear, and we want to hear what you think. We love to read people's theories, so let us know.
Let us know. And as we always say, goodbye.